Hey, welcome. So, if you're a leader who's trying to figure out how to get a real return on your generative AI investment, you already know the pressure is on. In this explainer, we're going to cut through all the noise and give you a straight-up, practical guide to making AI actually work for your organization. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by really digging into the big problem that's holding back so many AI projects. Then, we'll pivot to the solution, a really clear two-part framework that covers both your data and your people. Let's jump in.
First things first, we've got to face a pretty hard truth about where things stand with AI right now. This is kind of the reality check every leader needs before they even think about investing another dollar.
Okay, this is the number that should really make you sit up and pay attention. A whopping 4 out of 5 AI projects just don't meet their goals. You know, in baseball, they have a term for performance that's barely good enough to keep you on the team. It's called the Mendoza line. Well, right now, the entire AI industry is pretty much living there. And let's be honest, that's just not good enough.
And look, this isn't just some temporary thing. Top analysts are actually predicting that a majority of AI projects are going to be completely abandoned over the next couple of years. And they've singled out the #1 reason why: a lack of AI-ready data.
So wait a minute. If the fancy AI models themselves aren't really the main problem, then what is? This brings us to the absolute heart of the issue, and we're going to uncover the real reason behind that pretty shocking failure rate.
This right here, this single idea changes the entire game. For so long, we've been treating AI adoption like it's a technology problem. You know, a race to get the latest and greatest model. But the real problem? It's much closer to home. It's a foundational data strategy problem.
And wow, this chart really puts it into perspective, doesn't it? A recent report found that almost 70% of all enterprise data, I'm talking about your organization's most valuable knowledge, your secret sauce, is just sitting there. It's completely untapped. When your algorithms are only working with 1/3 of the available information, how can you possibly expect brilliant results?
Okay, so that's the problem. It's a big one. How do we actually fix this? How do we tap into all that value just sitting there? Well, let's build out the first part of our solution, a practical, 3-step playbook for getting your data house in order and making it genuinely AI-ready.
It all boils down to 3 absolutely crucial steps. We're going to walk through building the foundation, setting up smart governance, and then fighting this silent killer of ROI that's called temporal drift. First up, and let's be real, this is the not-so-glamorous work, but it is absolutely essential: building a solid data foundation. This means taking all that messy, siloed data and turning it into clean, integrated pipelines. And this is key. It means creating ground truth data sets. Just think of ground truth as your company's official, verified wisdom. All that unique expertise that makes you you, but structured in a way a machine can actually learn from it. I mean, look at Walmart. They spent years just patiently connecting their supply chain and sales data. And that foundational work is what made their later AI rollouts so smooth and so incredibly profitable.
Second, and this is huge, we have to totally flip the script on what governance means. Way too often, people see it as red tape, something designed to slow you down. But when you do it right, with clear owners for every piece of data and stewards who are responsible for quality, it actually becomes a velocity engine. It gets rid of bottlenecks, it slashes risk, and it gives your teams the confidence to move fast because they know the data they're using is solid and approved.
And finally, we have got to proactively fight drift. Because here's the thing about data, it's not like a fine wine. It gets worse with age. Customer behaviors change, markets shift. The world an AI was trained on yesterday is not the world of today. And this slow decay will quietly and systematically just destroy your ROI.
So this drift thing, it really comes in 2 main flavors. First, you have data drift. That's when the inputs themselves change, like, say, a big shift in your customer demographics. Then you have concept drift, which is when the meaning of the data changes. Think about a retail model that was trained on pre-pandemic shopping habits, trying to make sense of today's economy. Yeah, both of those are toxic for your model's accuracy. And if you think this is all just academic, think again. I mean, just look at what happened with Zillow. Their algorithm couldn't keep up with a fast-changing housing market, a classic case of concept drift, and that one failure in data readiness cost them over $500 million. It's a seriously powerful cautionary tale. Okay, so let's say you do all of that. Your data's pristine, it's perfectly governed, it's drift-proof. You're still only halfway there. A perfect engine is totally useless if you don't have a skilled driver. And that brings us to the second critical piece of AI success: your people.
We need to get beyond just basic tech training and start building something we call AI fluency in our teams. Now, this isn't just about knowing how to write a good prompt. No, it's a much deeper collaborative intelligence that makes sure every single interaction with AI is effective, efficient, ethical, and safe.
And here's how you do it. It's the 40 framework for AI fluency. Think of it as the human operating system that runs on top of all your great data. It covers delegation, knowing what to give the AI, description, knowing how to ask for it clearly, discernment, being able to critically judge the output, and finally diligence, making sure it's all done responsibly. As a leader, this is the skill set you've got to be focused on building.
So let's put it all together. Think of it this way. All that hard work you put into the data readiness playbook, that gives your organization a really powerful engine. But it's your team's AI fluency that gives them the skill to actually drive that engine and get you where you want to go. One without the other, and your project is just going to stall out. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is what it all comes down to. Success in this new age of AI. It's not about buying the best tech. It's about the dual readiness of your data and your people. So as you move forward, this is the one essential question you have to ask your entire organization. Are they both truly ready?